Confirmed now, Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham. Here we go. Spurs schedule medicals after triggering £60 million release clause. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. Morgan Gibbs-White is set for a medical at Tottenham Hotspur after they triggered his £60 million release clause at Nottingham Forest. The midfielder, 25, could be confirmed as Spurs' latest signing by the weekend, with personal terms considered to be no issue, as new head coach Thomas Frank looks to strengthen his squad ahead of the new season. Forest were under no financial pressure to sell Gibbs-White, having already sanctioned the £55 million sale of Anthony Elanga to Newcastle earlier this week. But once Gibbs-White's release clause was met, they had little option but to prepare for the departure of the England international. Manchester City had also been weighing up a move, only to cool their interest in the past fortnight. Gibbs-White, whose Forest contract had 2 years remaining, moved to the City ground from Wolves in August 2022 for an initial fee of £25 million plus £17 million in add-ons, and Wolves stand to earn a 10% cut from any profit made on his sale. He was a key figure last season as Forest returned to Europe for the first time since 1995-96, scoring 7 goals and providing 8 assists in 34 league appearances. But they fell out of the Champions League places late in the season and will instead participate in the Conference League. Morgan Gibbs-White, keen to explore arising opportunities, TBR Football correspondent Graeme Bailey can confirm that multiple clubs have now made approaches to Forest about Morgan Gibbs-White. We believe that owner Evangelos Marinakis is involved, as well as newly appointed football chief Edu. As a club, Forest insist they do not want to sell. Sources with knowledge of the situation have told TBR Football that a clause of over £60 million is in place, meaning he is attainable at around that price. We can also confirm that Gibbs-White's representatives have made it clear to Forest that he would like to explore the opportunities that are arising. The other clubs who have been interested in Morgan Gibbs-White, TBR Football, are told that Manchester City are the other club who are actively interested in Gibbs-White. We can also reveal that Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea all had some contact over the England star earlier this summer. The signing of Gibbs-White is surprising and the turning point that the fans have been waiting for. After the Europa League title, Daniel Levy, in an interview, said that the ambition of the club has changed and the search for trophies will continue in N17. Gibbs-White is proof that Daniel Levy was serious. Mohammed Kudus Tottenham shirt number revealed, and it has some history. Kudus's official Tottenham shirt number has been revealed after the Lilywhites announced their deal with West Ham United on Thursday evening. Mohammed Kudus has officially joined Tottenham Hotspur for a fee of £55 million, bringing an end to the transfer saga that lasted a few weeks. The 24-year-old winger has now signed a 6-year contract with Tottenham, one that is set to keep him at Hotspur Way until 2031. Tottenham managed to secure the services of Kudus for well below his £85 million release clause, leaving plenty of West Ham fans frustrated. Spurs managed to fend off Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea to land the signature of the former West Ham star. With Kudus's medical now done, the winger's shirt number has also been revealed. We reported a few days ago that a couple of shirt numbers were available for selection for the Ghana international, including the number 20, the same number he previously wore at Ajax and currently wears for Ghana. Spurs have now confirmed that Kudus has indeed swapped his 14 at West Ham for the vacant 20 at Tottenham Hotspur. Although the 20 shirt doesn't have a long list of big names attached to it, Spurs fans will forever associate it with the rise of Dele Alli and captain Michael Dawson. If Kudus can combine the flair and the leadership of that duo, he will certainly do the shirt proud. The 20 was recently vacated by Fraser Forster in N17. With Thomas Frank now getting his hands on his first marquee signing, Tottenham fans will be hoping for more names to come through the door. Spurs are set to compete on multiple fronts next season, including in the UEFA Champions League. And if they are to give a good account of themselves, they need to bolster their squad even further. It appears that Kudus won't be the Tottenham new boy for long though. Reports revealed today that Morgan Gibbs-White is set to have his Spurs medical on Friday ahead of a £60 million move from Nottingham Forest. Tottenham also continue to be linked with defensive options, with the likes of Scalvini and Esteve reported to be on Spurs' radar. Meanwhile, Yoann Wissa is reported to be interested in a move to Spurs, while Yves Bissouma is attracting interest from Juventus. Tottenham are preparing a £60 million bid for Crystal Palace star Adam Wharton after agreeing deals for Mohammed Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White, according to GB News. Thomas Frank's side are beginning to make their moves in the transfer window this week, with Daniel Levy agreeing to spend £115 million on West Ham and Nottingham Forest star attacking midfielders. But the club aren't done there, and reports now suggest they're set to make a play to bring in another highly rated midfield player ahead of the 2025-26 season. Spurs set to bid for Adam Wharton, £60 million bid planned. Wharton, who has been described as phenomenal, has emerged as one of England's best midfield prospects since joining Crystal Palace from Blackburn Rovers in February 2024. His performances have seen him attract the attention of some of the top clubs in the Premier League and Europe, and now Tottenham are said to be preparing to make their move to take him into the Champions League. According to GB News, Spurs are planning on making a bid worth around £60 million for the England international once they have formally completed moves for Kudus and Gibbs-White, with the Ghanaian having undergone a medical on Thursday, while Gibbs-White is set for a medical on Friday. While Spurs have given Frank a £175 million budget for the triple midfield deal, it's believed that Crystal Palace are going to be holding out for £70 million for their star midfielder, as they already expect to lose captain Mark Guehi and star forward Eberechi Eze during the transfer window. It's currently unclear if Palace would be willing to go down at all, but Tottenham are desperate to add a new number 6 to their squad this summer, with Yves Bissouma expected to move on. The Spurs squad is currently full of exceptional young talent like Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall and Mikey Moore, and it seems that Wharton could be the next one through the door if Frank gets his way. Spurs have taken a firm stance over one Spurs player who's attracting renewed interest from a La Liga giant. The Europa League winners have been linked with defensive reinforcements this summer, with Burnley's Maxime Esteve identified as one prospective target. However, Thomas Frank may also be mindful of seeing some of his current squad being eyed up by clubs across Europe, and one man in particular appears to be in the sights of overseas suitors. On Wednesday night, Sky Sports reporter Michael Bridge issued an update on Christian Romero, who continues to be admired by Atletico Madrid, but Spurs are understandably quite reluctant to lose their Europa League final hero. The journalist outlined, Christian Romero is the subject of long-term interest from Atletico Madrid, but the Tottenham vice-captain, player of the match in the Europa League final, is considered a very important member of Thomas Frank's side. It is understood that it would take a huge bid for the club to even consider selling a key player. Having bought themselves a Champions League lifeline with that famous victory over Manchester United in Bilbao, it definitely won't be on the agenda for Spurs to weaken their squad by cashing in on crucial players such as Romero this summer. Hailed as an unbelievable player by defensive colleague Mickey van der Ven, the Argentine is a player around whom Frank will be looking to build a successful side in N17, with the 27-year-old bringing the sort of big game-winning mentality that the club had lacked for so long. His Europa League final performance was one for the ages, and the North London faithful would revolt if Daniel Levy were to sanction the defender's exit in this transfer window, an action which would undo so much of the good which could come from that overdue success. Atletico will likely persevere with the mindset that every player has his price, and they may be hoping that the strong Argentina contingent at the Metropolitano, along with the genuine prospect of challenging for a league title, could ultimately entice Romero into a move to Madrid. Unless the La Liga giants submit a truly mind-blowing bid, Spurs surely won't countenance parting with a crucial on-field leader so soon after their greatest night in modern history. That wraps up today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with all things Tottenham, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for our latest content. Be sure to give this video a like and share it with fellow Spurs supporters. Let's grow the Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for tuning in, and as ever, come on you Spurs!